I can also record if you want. You're recording already. Yeah, and then we wanted also to add that, of course, we wanted everyone to be present in the meeting. So it's unfortunate that some of the group of the participants of the core team couldn't join. So, but we still decided to carry on because we have quite a big group with us here today, and we can also discuss with you by the end of the meet how to best organize like a next meet with the rest of the group, or to share back, or how to move forward with the next sessions to make sure that we're all connected and that we're all aligned. Yeah.
Nice. I'm receiving. So yeah, Nejo can hear us and see the screen. That's great. If there is any problem with the connection or the sound, and you don't hear anything or you don't understand, please share with us. I think in this first part we'll be just recapping what was done, but then in the other ones we have all the mics open and we put more into a discussion. And we can also share the link to this board. So if you prefer to see that yourself, how can I do that? That's also possible. And it would be great. Oh, not only for Nejo, for everyone. It would be great that you can also, if you are able to join the board, that in the next phases, you can also add inputs and comments and feedback there. So yeah, just repeating what is the core and the objectives of the project. I think it's always good as a reminder to keep us in the same direction and to align on the objectives that we are going forward. It's quite a big scope and can go to several directions. And the idea of these 3 sessions is to narrow it down and come up with one solution that can serve all the different aspects that we are looking into. The main topic of the project is the future of work. And we see that more and more that's also connected to the future of learning, and that learning should be a part of life, right? I think with the COVID, we also saw how much we had to reinvent ourselves and stay innovative, stay aware, and engage with the changes that are happening, so we can also adapt as professionals, as a community, as citizens, as human beings. So thinking about this future that is unknown in so many levels, we focus on the employability as also the program, the Work in Progress Alliance focus, employability for youth in Nigeria. And we also focus on the idea that the labor market is changing. And we also saw with COVID that also the learning aspects and the connection and communication aspect. So everything is unknown in the future. And there is one concept that tries to think of which skills will be useful for this unknown future, that are relevant in any time, in any case. So it's more of also a way of looking at things, is an attitude more than skills that you learn how to use in one set and one context, but could not be transferred. So we are looking here at skills that can be transferred and used in any time, in any event that happens. So these can be divided into digital literacy, which is a big topic, a very important topic for the project that we are going forward, especially from the research and from the course that we saw how much these skills are not yet connected to the education system in Nigeria, and not a real part of every youth's life. So how we can get this media, ICT, and information literacy out there that also connects more people with job opportunities and education opportunities. thinking about learning and innovation, the development of this, it's more than a skill, it's an attitude of looking into things in a critical way, in a problem-solving way, in a creative, in innovative way, finding best ways to communicate, to exchange, and to share, and to collaborate. And design thinking is also merging all these different mindsets together. And talking more about the career and life, also in terms of an attitude and a mindset, flexibility, adaptability. So being agile and adapting to the imprevisibility of the future, to take initiative and to make your own decisions and but at the same time collaborate and being social and being inclusive. So being productive, being accountable, and taking different types of leadership that nowadays and the future requires. So all these different skills are not yet in the education system, especially from the research that we've been taking. And those are the guiding principles, let's say, that we would like to take also as objectives for this project. For thinking about the merging all these skills into one, we bring, as part of the process that we've been doing, the idea of the digital lab. So we, in the design thinking course, we asked the groups these 3 different questions. So to understand also the different levels where these digital skills, this learning and innovation and career and life attitudes are being or not being implemented in society and in the communities and in the learning institutions. So just to summarize, the problem we are trying to solve is to equip youth in Nigeria with these timeless skills, with these 21st century skills, focusing on technical and vocational education. So we are talking again about digital literacy, learning how to learn, problem solving, innovation, and how to make them part of the curriculum, part of the education. Youth is the long term that change that we want to achieve is that they are equipped to run and start their SMEs and their small businesses and generate income and hopefully even employ other people. That jobs are that youth are equipped with to get jobs or to even create these new jobs of the future in existing businesses. That they are resilient to adapt to this future and to the long life learning. And that the EDCs are the center for entrepreneurship and innovation in the education and academic space. And our main audience is the youth in universities, and we are also talking with the EDCs, and that would mean the teachers, the skill facilitators, and the managers. We also know that in this project we have other organizations, and it would be great to use this as a framework, but also find ways that we can, for instance, think how the hub can be included and can contribute to that. And how hubs in general, but here being represented by the Northeast Humanitarian Hub, and how other organizations and nonprofits and communities can also be a part of it, how graduate skillers can also be a part of it. And for that, we also have the I Create representing this community and this group. So this is a frame for guiding our direction, but it doesn't mean that it can not be changed. I think in this meeting, we'll also have conversations that will, in a way, reveal not exactly our objectives, but how to reach them. And indeed validate and change a little bit the audience or how exactly to do these changes. So trying to give a quick recap on the idea of the core team is to indeed bring different organizations into the same objective, into a shared objective, to bring those skills to youth and skillers, or people that are equipped with technical skills that might not have this vision of all these things that I was talking about to be adapted to the future that is unknown and coming. So we started with a kickoff and introduction to the design thinking, and to also some remote tools, for instance, the Miro that we are using today. And then we had the DT course. I think from here we had Ibrahim and Nejo participating in the DT course. Would you like to share how the experience was, or maybe just the steps that were taken for the other people in the meeting that were not participating?
Okay, oh, great. Um, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. We actually had a wonderful DT session, and we have participants shared into different groups. And like my team, we were working on a particular topic, and we're trying to see how integrate blended learning in our tertiary institutions. And by understanding what we actually referred to as blended learning is a learning process where we imbibe both the conventional method and and uh, digital method for learning, and we're able to come up with a prototype and other things. So basically, my group and other groups that I'm aware of were started by identifying the various stakeholders, those that have a role to play in the entire process, and we're able to interact with them via either phone calls or WhatsApp, some even via Zoom, and we documented the process. We interacted with them, and we took their own opinion. So it was on the basis of that that we were able to come up with the prototype we built, of which we we intend to make. So the exercise one, though we're actually constrained because of the COVID scenario, could not actually meet most of the stakeholders personally to discuss more. It has to be online, phone calls, and we had challenges there because we cannot really get
Oh, no, Ibrahim, I think we
out
lost you.
for a one. Hello?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Thank you so
Okay,
much
great.
for this summary. It's really nice to hear from your experience. Were you? I don't know if you finished. Do you want to say more? Because I think it was cut. I don't know if you finished what your sentence. Do you want to add anything else?
Yeah. No, I think that, or summarily, I think I would say it was a wonderful session, and we're able to look into the idea we're working on and build a prototype. And building that prototype was based on what we got from the stakeholders we interacted with. So summarily, so it was a wonderful session.
Nice. So really like looking at the users and the different actors in the system to try to create solutions that would really work in that particular context. Really nice. Nejo, would you like to add anything to what Ibrahim said? How was the experience for you? Are you able to talk now?
Okay, good morning, everyone again. So our topic was more on equipping Nigerian youths with ICT, that is digital skills, where we came up with the challenges that they might have of getting these digital skills. And we did a prototype where we even do a WhatsApp training to see the feedbacks from what might be the challenges and how they will be able to learn effectively, probably learning the digital skill virtually, which we did, and it was really a great experience. And we even find most of the youths that they really want to learn digital skills, but just few challenges that they have, probably with the cost to learn a skill. And some of them have challenges like data, or even having a computer they can use to learn digital skills. So it's actually a wonderful experience. And yeah, I look forward to this session to see how we can advance.
Really nice. So I think also I'm not sure, Mary or I think Ahmad also entered. Did the hub, we had, I think, 2 teams from the Northeast Innovation Hub. Did they mention anything about the course with you guys? Is Mary still there? Well, maybe if you want to jump in my comment, but I remember also from the hub, one of the participants shared that they were actually applying already the things that they were learning. They had to do, I think, a boot camp or a workshop for robotics, and they actually went to ask potential participants what they would want to learn. So I think that hearing that was really amazing to see also how they were getting the tools and the mindset and applying in their own challenges or their own tasks at work. So it's really nice to also hear from Ibrahim and Nejo about your perspectives. And as both of you mentioned, we did have all different, these are some, just some to illustrate the different prototypes that we had. So in the end, this was from Ibrahim's group that he was mentioning. So in the end, they actually came up with the solutions and ways to illustrate or ways to test, as Nejo was mentioning, that even if it's not a final product, even if they didn't have, of course, the time didn't allow to have a complete curriculum of how to teach a specific skill or ICT skills, they could quickly try to validate if that idea or if that format or if that language was working, if people would pay, if people would be interested, which topics they would be interested in learning. So this was one set of that brought us a lot of insights about the topics, about the formats, about so many different levels. But that was only one part of it. So I'm not sure if you remember in the first meeting that we mentioned that the whole design thinking course would serve as a research phase for our core team. So thinking about the aspects and the elements in the final ideas already give us a lot of insight. But we also had other ideas that were discussed through the process, but not necessarily chosen to be the final ones and made into prototypes. So we also took those into account, and also the reasons why they were not chosen and why they were actually there in the list of ideas, which needs they were attended. Of course, we also looked into the research process and the insights that came from this process. So for instance, how a trainer would take so many people and in one class that would be hard to give a hands-on training, a tutorial about something. It was hard to explain, for instance, or the fear that people would have when they were trying to test something that they didn't know exactly how it worked, or another insight was the lack of understanding of why to use ICT and the potential of using those tools. Thais, do you want to add?
Yeah, I also just wanted to add that the DT course also served, like, because during COVID it was completely online, and it was a complete, even though it was not on the topic of digital skills per se, it was also a way for us to see how an online training that made use of digital skills in some sense worked. So we also got a lot of learnings on how people collaborated online, and it would even be nice to get even more feedback. So we already got that from some of the feedback forms you shared, but also like the online tutorials that you also shared, Ibrahim, and all these. In the end, it was also a very big learning process for us on how the course evolved in itself and how participants connected and what were the challenges with the teams and so on. So yeah, just to add that that also was quite a nice, gave us a lot of insights that we can use in the future.
Yeah, for sure. For instance, the use of mobile phones. So it's instead of going and asking in an interview how people would take a course or which devices they would use, we actually could see the challenges of the data and meeting together, as Ibrahim also mentioned, how that also adds to it. So it was really like an active research, really going through the context together with all of you. And it's great that we have people here in this group that also participated in that, that can also, yeah, rethink even more and reflect on their experiences when we are generating the solutions, because I think that was a very valid experience to take into account in so many, all these different levels to what we are producing. We had in total 10 teams and 64 participants in the course with us from different institutions. And our plan is indeed to engage them again, to test and to give feedback on everything that we create. So we'll keep this as a start of a collaboration and a relationship as well. On the other hand, in parallel to the T course, we also felt that we needed to get deeper insight about the different institutions that we were talking about. So we went, INI did 12 interviews with different institutes. Thais and I also made a couple. So we talked with the managers of EDCs, but also with the NUC entrepreneurship department, also with EcoBits and EdoBits, to understand a little bit the different perspectives and the infrastructure challenges or the training challenges, online learning challenges and opportunities as well, how they would be able to overcome those challenges. So that could also give us insights on how, which opportunities we could use for our solution. We started analyzing all these results, so this already happened, and this is the first co-creation session. So that's exactly where we are right now, to validate those insights and to start thinking and generating solutions. We'll have 3 sessions in total. And the next one will really be to more think about ideas and solutions, and the following one to make them more concrete, to make a planning of how to prototype that, how to validate those ideas, and how to make them become a reality. And after those sessions, it will be by the end of the year. So the idea is that we collect all this and make those solutions starting to be shaped so we can test. And the testing phase will be then in the following year, that we can go back to all the community that we are creating around the topic with the DT course and with the core team, and hopefully even open up to even more people to join this testing phase and to give more details and give more aspects and more adaptation to the context, to the solutions that we are creating. Is there any, I don't know if Thais wants to add anything to this, or if there is any other comment or question from the other participants? If not,
No, not from my side. I think
we can go to part 2. Would you like to, Nejo, would you like to share?
Yeah, I just want to comment on what you guys have done with this, the, what do you call it now, the feedback we've gotten from the DT course, how you guys have transformed it, and it's looking so wonderful. Yeah.
I didn't get the question. How we are transforming?
It's not a question. I'm just commenting on what I'm seeing from Miro, what you guys have done, how you've transformed most of the feedbacks and what you've got from the course, the data, into this wonderful. It's looking so great. I was just
That's
going
really nice. Oh, thank you for that. Nice to hear it. I think it's also a good, because this project is almost like, I don't know if you saw that movie Inception, but it feels like one mini project inside of another mini project that is all talking kind of about the same topic. So we are going through a process of DT, of design thinking ourselves as this group. But then we had a mini process of design thinking and we are analyzing both together and merging everything into one. So it's also really nice to step a little bit away of the experience that you had in these 3 weeks and see how this whole experience can be used as a research. And then there is the analysis of the research. And then we start a new loop to generate ideas and then to prototype and so on. So it's nice to hear your feedback as well. Thais, would you like to step in to the part 2?
Yeah. Should I share my screen? Is it easier for me to, or do you walk me around?
Whatever you prefer. I can give you a ride if you like.
Yeah. So well, basically from all the insights from not only the DT course, but also from all the interviews and also from even a previous research that we did in 2019 with the digital labs and everything. There's a lot of information compiled together, and we try to find out like what were the top, like the key topics or areas, let's say, that these insights fall into. And these 4 ones were digital skills, entrepreneurship, awareness, and infrastructure. While at the same time, well, at the same time, on the right, you see also policy making and gender equality being just some other kind of supporting topics that we just would like to always keep in mind. Firstly, for gender equality, make sure that we are representing both genders and that we're creating equal opportunities. And in terms of policy making, how can we have more, participate and contribute in more policy making decisions? We have and you see in the potentially also more of the Ministry of Education part of our project. So it's not really something that we're focusing on, but that we are aware of, and that we would like eventually to build more of these relationships and to strengthen the relationship with the ministry so that our impact is even greater. And if you see the map, I'll just quickly explain you also the map. Basically, what are the green dots are opportunities, and the red ones are challenges. We also not always see one thing as completely as challenge, because you can always flip it and see it in some way as an opportunity, but we try to phrase them together like that. And the post-its, you see the purple ones are local ideas, so ideas that came from the design thinking course. The green ones are butterfly work suggestions, so ideas that we have. And the orange one are inspiring examples that are already existing, and same as the existing assets. Existing assets are also existing assets that are being currently done in the EDCs, and inspiring examples are examples that are related to the topics. And well, basically they're all interconnected, because the thing is, so for example, if you go between these two, between entrepreneurship and digital skills, Lini, so the opportunity is, some people see social media, online tools and platforms as a form of being more effective and making a living, but some people don't see the benefit of using digital skills for business. So there's two sides, and they are directly linking how digital skills can provide you entrepreneurship opportunities. That's why we connect them to these two main topics. Let me see. Yeah, the other ones. Yeah, maybe it's easier if I share my screen, Alini, so that I can explain while walking it through, because I think it's a little bit difficult. Should I do that? Yeah. Oh, I cannot share my screen because I'm not co-host. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so basically our focus, well, to start with, is our focus with Butterfly Works is that we know that we have a lot of experience in digital skills. We also have really strong partners with digital skills. So like through EcoBits, having one of already curricula, a lot of experience in digital skills. And entrepreneurship is also one of the focuses for us on like, how can we make use of digital skills to foster more entrepreneurship, more employability opportunities to youth, because that's also one of our main targets and the scope of what Work in Progress wants to do. But at the same time, we do see that the awareness is very important, because like what I Create Africa is doing, that is to change the mindset, change the perspective of what TVET is. There's all these underlying values and beliefs that people have surrounding the topic of TVET that should be addressed and is already being addressed by I Create. So I also think that we can, as a core team, that's one of the ideas of the core team, is that we are connecting with each other and strengthening each other's projects and goals. And also, I think the Humanitarian Innovation Hub is also addressing it a lot with awareness and a lot with skills and training. So it's really good that we are strengthening each other. And there's one also main topic, which is infrastructure, which I think from all the research and even through the design thinking course, we've noticed that infrastructure is one of the main challenges with internet, with power, with access to mobile phones and things like that. But maybe I'll quickly walk you through. So for example, in the area of entrepreneurship, we say that there is a shortage of opportunity for formal jobs. But at the same time, entrepreneurship education aims for youth to create businesses that will also employ other people. The introduction to entrepreneurship is now a compulsory course for all university students. But at the same time, the curriculum is outdated, does not teach students how to set up a business in practice. The current entrepreneurship education is not rooted in problem solving or innovation. The pandemic encouraged more entrepreneurship and innovation, which was also an opportunity within a challenge. Practical vocational skills are not aligned with potential for future of work needs, so the automation, digitalization, sustainability. Entrepreneurship education is most of the times not connected to the job market. So some ideas that came from the design thinking course was that a workshop to enlighten people on how to manage their business and make their better decisions. the development of training on digital skills for specific industries, a course for farmers and agriculture about innovation and use of digital skills. And so here we see as an opportunity that COVID as an opportunity to act in real life issues and impact the community. So everyone noticed that that was really important. And University Ventures, another opportunity that's there is that University Ventures use skills in practical ways to serve the community and generate income.
Thais, can I interrupt
Yeah.
you for a second? If possible, we have two questions in the beginning there in the board. If the participants could take notes already reflecting on those questions while Thais is explaining, I think that can be easier and bring more insights to our discussion in a couple of minutes. So is there anything that doesn't make sense for you, and why? How do you experience that differently from the insights that we analyzed? Is there anything also missing that you think it's really important to paint the picture and to be represented in the system that is not yet there? And the second one, what do you consider the most important? Like, if we had to choose one thing to change that would really create a lot of impact and give access to the generation of a lot of jobs for youth, which is our end objective, what would be that or those insights and things? So if you could take notes of that while Thais is explaining, would be amazing for our discussion.
Yeah, thanks, Aline. Yeah, so these are a few of so for entrepreneurship, these were the main insights that we collected. So there's, as a summary, entrepreneurship is a compulsory part of education in Nigeria. There is a lot of opportunity into connecting youth with more jobs in the market, potentially linking that with digital skills. How can the people actually make use of digital skills to get more jobs or to create their own jobs? How did the pandemic also change our perspective on learning and on entrepreneurship and innovating in this sector? And digital skills was also the one that's quite like interconnected with most of it, especially because, of course, that our topic of the course was regarding digital skills. So another one here is that some youth see digital technology as a tool just for like relaxation and leisure. So a bit of a challenge that is linked to the mindset, to the awareness. So the student engagement and motivation in online learning is also a challenge. Again, it's about changing their awareness on what a mobile phone, what a computer can actually provide them in terms of learning and skill building. And here there were a couple of ideas from the DT course, which was learning how to learn online, leveraging on existing resources, and then creating online awareness campaign about ICT importance for youth, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And also, but in general, the university sees online learning as a positive improvement. Online learning is seen as an inevitable for the future of learning. COVID raised a lot of awareness on the importance of online learning. In terms of, so then still linked to awareness is the fact that, well, there's a lack of knowledge about data privacy and security on the internet, leaving people exposed to fraud. There's also a lack of awareness from parents about the importance of digital skills for youth. Also a lack of awareness about the possibilities of digital skills, about the importance of the knowledge and how this leads to fear and resistance of the digital skills. So people who are not familiar with it, they're also usually more resistant to actually using it and to exploring what digital skills can, and digital mobile phones and digital resources can provide. And there's also, in terms linking to awareness, a bit of a lack of trust from parents about the use of internet by youth. They usually think that they will be using it either for things that are not allowed, or just for socializing and not gaining much from it. But at the same time, parents and community do see the value of digital skills. So there's sometimes a lot of contradictory points of view to the same topic. So assets, for example, youth use parents' devices. So it's quite common that parents also either give their own devices, or that they can also share from their neighbors and from their friends. Other ideas here was a lot about online awareness campaigns about ICT and the importance for parents. The idea of, especially when you're talking about digital skills, how can we have the entering it from different levels? So how, same as the example Aline showed in the beginning, like having a basic, a medium, and a higher, like building up from different levels, making it a bit more gamified, a bit more simple to understand, not too, making ICT skills not too complex. Practical exercises to learn the basic skills, tech festivals, something that's also quite linked to what iCreate is doing, some more with this thing about competitions, offline awareness campaigns, because in general, people believe that digital devices are seen as a luxury by people that are not aware of their purpose, of people who are not aware of the opportunities and purpose of the devices, see it's more as a luxury. The costs, so here you see that we're already starting to link it a bit to infrastructure. So that's why the lines are connecting now to infrastructure, which is a lot about the cost, because it's very expensive. So there's also ideas of having mobile phone scholarships. So maybe students who get a certain grade, they can actually get a smartphone or a computer as a scholarship instead of money. Again, data costs being a barrier to online learning. There's also the idea of having more free version with ads. So for example, if you're creating a online curricula, that you could even have it or accessing data in your mobile, having it free, but making use of a business model where you get money from advertising. Being able to download every kind of training offline so that it's accessible to even when you don't have internet. Again, here, some challenges related to infrastructure was that universities have a limited amount of computers for students to follow. Lack of infrastructure blocks the development of the national ICT curricula. There were some ideas to set up more e-learning labs on campus, having like a digital hub, having more resources. Also, lack of digital skills from trainers is seen as a barrier. So there's also quite a focus on preparing trainers to being also familiar with the digital skills, making use of tutorials and platforms to create content and share training. So one idea is like learning how to teach online as a course for trainers. Or even also with a model that youth that already learned can be the facilitator of other youths, which is also quite linked with the digital literacy program of EcoBits. Some assets that are already there is, for example, there are solar panels that are providing affordable alternatives to power supply, because power supply is also unstable and always quite expensive to people. And yeah, so also digital schools used for classes always depend on the personal knowledge of the teacher, but there are some digital schools being used. So sometimes WhatsApp and Zoom are being used, especially now in COVID. But in general, platforms for online learning are not super user-friendly and don't attend to the needs of teachers on how to make use of it. It crashes a lot. So again, about the idea of simplifying the learning, making it gamified, making it in steps, customizing it to the needs of the learner profiles and the teacher profile. Practical classes are seen as challenging for online learning, especially for TVET, right? Because there's a lot of more making subjects. So how can we integrate blended learning? So that was also one of the ideas of the teams, integrating a blended learning format, which is a mix between online and offline trainings. And again, the idea that we already know, or the fact that the internet is always unstable, especially how can we make it accessible for people in the rural areas. A lot of this is an opportunity because a lot of learners and people that were part of our research make use of mobile internet as hotspots, so that's perceived as cheaper. So mobile is usually in general widely used compared to computers. Yeah, here it is. Mobile users use more than computers. And social media is widely used for personal and work-related issues. So we also have the idea of, like I said, simplifying, so making it a bit more like a micro-learning, learning through mobile. Ideas here about creating a nationwide free hotspot, internet hotspot. And I think I'm almost covered with all of it. Again, just again, a focus on how people communicate. So WhatsApp is widely used, and the pandemic encouraged also new ways of interacting. So there's always also some ideas on really focusing on the community and building and strengthening that community. And that is about it. It's quite a lot, but I wanted at least that you can see everything that we've collected. And yeah, and just to summarize again, that for Butterfly, we see that we, within our scope and within what we can focus on from our organization, is really on the digital skills, building on a curricula that can focus on digital skills to foster entrepreneurship of TVET students. So a way that if a student is learning, let's say, bead making, and they would like to sell that more, or to be more, to grow their business and to set up a business, how can digital skills support that student to make that happen? So it's kind of a link between digital skills and entrepreneurship skills. But we would also like to, in the next exercise, to discuss how can we support each other and check what other projects that are currently happening that can support tackling these two other areas that are very intertwined. Because what we see with these system maps is that we cannot, if we focus only on one in itself, we realize that actually we first need to, or we should be doing it all together, is changing also the mindset to make sure that people are willing to get into digital skills, or that parents are aware, or that there's a wider reach of people that are understanding the potential of digital skills. But at the same time, if we only tackle these two, we know that there's a lack of access. So even though people are aware of it, they might not have access to it. So this is a little bit how we're thinking, and how we need to keep in mind about all these intertwined aspects and elements of what we've collected. But yeah, building on what Aline shared, would be nice to hear from you now, maybe in a couple of minutes before we move to the next session. What are your thoughts on it? Is there any insight that you consider most important, or one of the areas, or any ideas or assets that you already know that can be linked to these points? Let's see. Cannot release. Oh yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
All
Hi,
right. So
Tito.
my take in this is I feel that as much as digital skills is very important and how viable it can also be when one learn a digital skill, we should also look at the other side of the demand. Even after they've obtained a digital skill, they've learned digital skill, how and how can they make like use that skill to now make money. For instance, now you now link those people that have obtained the digital skill to the market where that digital skill is needed. Because some of them might not even be really even good with the digital skill. So probably they can link them to where they can do an internship to make them better, and then they can see how they can skill up to be better in that digital skill.
Yeah, nice. Agreed. And do you have any ideas? Because we do have some ideas here about linking it to entrepreneurship a little bit, but not so much on the market needs. So that was also one of the challenges here. They're not so much connected to the market needs. Do you know of anything that's happening now, or do you have any insights that could be a link there? Or for now, would it be something that you would suggest we need to research a little bit more on?
Okay, well, what we are doing at iCreate, there's this platform we just launched called Skillers. Although we're still trying to push it there to the market. But the way it is right now, we have most skill professionals that are already onboarded on the platform, because we did a lot of entry where we screen only the good ones. Because even as much as people have learned skills, some of them are not really good for market. So we now screen them to the ones that can actually be good for the market. So we already have that in place, and we're now looking at the demand side now on how to get people that need those skills. So the platform is already up and running. Is www.skillers.ng. I know that there are other platforms out there too that people can onboard to get this for people to access their services.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. Yeah, indeed. We also have that as one of our assets in the next exercise that I hope we can still get there. And what would you say is for you like the most important, considered the most important insight or topic?
Well, what I feel is the most important here is the creating awareness to let parents know that digital skills is very, very key. Look at the situation we are right now due to this COVID-19 now. Most people work remotely, and most of the skills that are being demanded are digital skills. So you can even have the advantage to even work remotely and still get paid. Most of the people that don't really have digital skills, they end up losing their jobs because there was no need for those skills to be used, and the employers couldn't afford to pay because those skills were not really in demand. So they have to downsize, and those people, they lose their jobs. But if they have had a digital skill at another end, they can have something to fall back on, even after all this have affected them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's my take.
Thank you. Does anyone else would like to add something? Maybe Ini or Ibrahim? No? Are you, can you hear me? 'Cause it would be really nice just to have even if it's more of a take from your side. What do you see as mostly important, and why, and what do you see as a main challenge? So something, I think that's just important for us to know from your perspective. Maybe Ini, you'd like to go first? Or Ibrahim? I wonder if they, oh yeah, Nejo, you can go. Yeah, I see you. Oh no, Ibrahim, you were going to speak. Oh, I'm confused now.
Yeah, not really. Actually warming up.
Yeah, go ahead, Ibrahim.
Okay. Uh, I'm putting my materials together. I'll talk. I'll get back. I'll be back.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe we can go back because these topics are a little bit linked to the next exercise also, right? They are somewhat reflected there also, so we can still brainstorm on this a little bit while Adeline takes us through.
Yeah, I asked Tini in the private message, but he's saying that the internet is very poor, so he can barely hear anything.
Oh, okay.
That's really a shame. But okay, let's move forward, and I think they are indeed very, very connected. So the idea for the part 3 is to, I think we already started looking at this as assets and which opportunities are there. So we have here mapped the different organizations and different elements or actors in the system. So not only the EDCs and the university and Ministry of Education, but also internet and infrastructure and power, for instance. Some of these actors, let's call them actors in this system, in this ecosystem, are already connected and already are engaged in some way. So for instance, the NUC is connected to the Ministry of Education, and they decide the policies and accredit the courses for the university, and they also provide the curriculum for the EDC, and so on. So you can see these different connections. And some institutions are not yet connected, but we do see a lot of synergy on the objectives and missions. For instance, the I Create, for instance, the BIT schools, and we also have the humanitarian hub. So what we would like from this exercise is to try to understand. I already put a couple of assets in green there. Maybe Thais, if you can zoom in. I think for EcoBits, I put or for I Create, I put indeed the platform. And also I put the online presence and the communication channels. That, for instance, if we have one aspect of our solution that should be more into the awareness, maybe we could make use of these channels to spread the message to the community that is already created. For instance, for EcoBits, for instance, we could think of the digital curriculum that they already have, how we can build on top of it, how we can improve and localize for the different institutions. They also have experienced trainers in digital skills that already know challenges and tricks and how to navigate in the context. Maybe just thinking a little bit ahead so you can understand why we are highlighting assets. Maybe this could be an opportunity for them to train other trainers. They also have a digital literacy program that allows more people to be trained as this kind of waterfall aspect of one person that is trained can then share the skills and train other people. So these are just, let's say, good practices or really nice examples or channels or communities that are already there that we could tap into. We can also think about projects or about programs or partnerships that are already established that can be used in and strengthen these solutions and these topics that we are talking about. So our questions for the core team would be to reflect on their own organizations and to think from their own organizations and perspectives, which assets they would have to contribute to the project that we could use. So Nejo already mentioned, for instance, the platform. I put here as an example the communication channels. I'm not sure if you also see that way and you see opportunities, and which other opportunities would you see from I Create Africa or from your personal network that could be added here? If Ini can hear us, it would be great to hear also his perspective on the BIT schools or maybe on POIS that he's also engaging with. And for Ibrahim, for the Nasarawa EDC, and also for the other entrepreneurship initiatives that he's part of. It would be really nice to, if you think it makes sense, to add those other communities, networks, and organizations there. And which assets, which opportunities they could bring to our solution that we could use to create our solutions.
Yeah, and maybe if you have problems with the audio now, you can also put it on the chat. If that's if that's an issue with the connection, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if Ini actually heard the question. Maybe I can put it in the chat for him so he can answer.
What's the question?
Okay, great. Thais, can you zoom in the questions in the beginning of the board? So the question is, how do you see your organization contributing to the system and which assets can play a role to achieve our objective? It can be a program, a project, a partnership, a channel or a community, anything that you think could bring value to the objective that we are trying to achieve, so that we can actually make use of to build our solution or to spread our solution. And you can also add other organizations or networks that you also see that have those assets that you are personally connected with or not, that then we find ways of connecting with. Does that make sense? This what we're asking?
Yes, it does.
We hear you very clearly. Would you like to answer in now instead of writing?
Okay, yeah, since I think the network is sounding better now. Yeah, in terms of support, of course, EcoBeat and POIS with Butterfly Works, we've been in partnership together, since 2016. And in terms of human resource personnel, I think that's one thing, because we have trainers who have been trained, to facilitate courses when it comes to digital literacy, which is the ICT part of it. I know that's what we do at EcoBeat. Then we also have participants, trainers also from POIS who have also taken the design thinking course also. Yes, so I think in terms of human resource personnel, in terms of getting trainers, in terms of getting participants, also in terms of community engagement, yeah, I think that's one area where we can also support. And also in terms of infrastructure, of course, we have training centers that are equipped with computer systems and other facilities and training centers too. I think I'm looking at those other areas too. I don't know if I'm answering your question the right way. Was that the kind of question you asked?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's good to see what is already within our reach that we can
Yeah.
make use of instead of going to a direction that we would need to start from scratch. So when you
And
say
maybe, oh, sorry.
when
Go
you
ahead.
say, just to clarify, getting participants, you mean learners or which participants you had in mind?
Yeah, I mean, learners, yeah, learners.
Okay.
Yeah, for example, there have been time when, of course, when the DT course was done physical and not virtual. So there was this partnership with Butterfly Works, and then we're able to reach out to as many people within our network here to attend trainings here. So getting the right set of people, that's what I was talking about.
And Nini, just to as a follow-up, for example, when you mentioned the trainers, because you have experienced trainers in digital skills,
Yeah.
also the computer center and so on, that is currently for EcoBits and EdoBits on some, right, combined. How would you see that it could like that you see that your trainers could support this other project? Like, do you think you have experience in like recruiting new trainers that could support this process, or that we could have a collaboration with the current trainers of EcoBits, or that we could potentially make use of the space, or that you, because I know that EdoBits had quite has quite a good experience with Edo State in that sense of like the partnerships of getting new computers.
Yeah.
But do you think you have like this expertise and this in a way a support on how we can tackle these infrastructure problems? Because even though I know that that's in EcoBits, how could we like make use of your knowledge and what you have for this project?
Okay, yes, like you said, for Adobe, there's a partnership with the government already. And in terms of getting a training space and getting facilities like computers, that wouldn't be a problem for Adobe. Then for Lagos, the center where the Bit School is located, of course, we also have the POIS building there, and the POIS building also have different training spaces. You understand, training centers that can be used for programs when necessary or when needed. So in terms of training space for Lagos, it's not going to be a problem.
Okay.
But yeah, the challenge might be maybe if we want to use computer system, but if we want to use computer system for a short period of time, of course, that cannot, it's not going to be a problem. So it's just a question of how we can, because we already have laptops, okay? We have laptops that, and students make use of desktop. You understand? So we have some couple of laptops that can also be used during this period of training, most especially if it's a short term period. So that's that's what I feel. Yeah, that's what we have.
And Ini, do you happen to know of because it's really, firstly, thank you so much. I think it's really nice that you also make EcoBits available and supportive. And do you happen to know any other current organization in Nigeria that works with like computers or provides resources, or some organization that we could talk to in order to try and tackle this infrastructure issue?
You can. I know of one called the bunker. The bunker. Yeah, maybe I should.
Oh yeah, if you can type it in the chat, that would be great. The bunker. Yeah, thanks.
What exactly do they do?
They have training space, co-working space, with the best facilities, and also you can also partner with them for trainings, that you want to do. Right, they're also very open to partnership, the trainings, and they have the space, they have the facilities, they have the equipment and infrastructure. Yeah.
Okay,
But
nice.
yeah, private sector anyways, but yeah, but
Yeah. No, but good. Thanks, Nini.
yes, and I also know of Work and Connect in Abuja. Yeah, it's also similar to the bunker, but they have very sophisticated technology and facilities at Work and Connect in Abuja.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. And what about you, Neja? Because I'm looking at the time for I create. Yeah, we have here what Aline already shared. But do you have anything else that you would like to add, or ways that you see I create can connect to all these topics at hand and the other actors?
Okay. Trying to take a look at it.
No, I'm meant Nejo from I
Oh,
Create. Yeah.
all right.
If I don't know if you can hear us now.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah.
What was the question? What was the question again?
Because we are mapping out like the different assets. So, like you said, I Create has this killer digital platform and has this online presence. It has this killers network. What else do you see as like main assets of I Create that could like support or contribute to this, or other partners that you work with that could be also relevant for us to know or to try and connect that could tackle those topics that we just went over?
Okay, like we already know what iCreate is all about, to
Mm-hmm.
create awareness and to make people see the importance to learn a skill. So I think we already have most stakeholders here that probably when we create awareness, we can direct them to these stakeholders where they can try to learn a digital skill, because we ourselves we um, don't really train on skills per se. So what we do is like the Skiller platform we already have is the people that already learn the skill, they can now come on the platform and render services to people that demand those skills.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you see, or do you actually see, have any ideas of how we can connect the platform to the universities, for instance, or to people that are still training?
Yes, how we can connect that is when they already acquire those skills, they can now come on the platform. We can now onboard them on the platform and we will link them to people that demand those skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, just to add, Ini, what about you? Also had a platform, right? That you were putting together, like a job platform, EcoBits, right? Oh, not sure if he hears me now. Ini, are you still there? Oh, maybe not. Yeah, Nejo, you please continue. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I also add something. There's something we are working on now that we are onboarding trainers on the platform also. We just started doing the campaign this week. It's called Skill Up, where we can connect to apprentices, people that want to learn a skill. So what we're doing is we're onboarding trainers on the platform also to train people that need some particular skills. So once those trainers are being onboarded, we will now link them to the apprentice that wants to learn the skill, and they get paid because it's not for free. Those apprentices have to pay some fees where they have to pay the trainers so they can learn the skill. So that campaign is quite it's already on running. So we'll start the screening process on how we can screen the trainers, because not everyone that apply that will be onboarded, because of we have some criteria by which we use to onboard people, the trainers on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Nejo, I'm curious, how do you assess the skillers? Because that could be something also interesting, almost like an accreditation, um, that you check the level of skills, and that person has like a, I don't know, accredited by iCreate. Just thinking of a different way of using it as well.
Okay, what we do is we tell them to send in their works, stuff they've done. Then if they have certification in the skill, they also send that to. So we use that as a measure.
So it's mostly on the curriculum and certifications that they already have. You don't test them in any way.
No, we don't do a test. No.
Okay. Yeah, because this could be interesting as well as an opportunity to how to make this transition, and then to make sure that the curriculum that they are going through is up to the standards to enter the platform and therefore be relevant to the market, or the other way around.
Yeah, very true. I think I will point that to Bright.
Yeah, nice. I think we are reaching the end of our meeting, but I hope that discussion and those reflections also started to make everyone think in different ways, and also start tapping into possible solutions and possible directions that we can go to.
Yeah.
We will find, we will bring some of these things back to the group, and also find a way to have this session with the people that were not here today,
Yeah.
and find a way to have everyone together in the following session.
Yeah,
But it
maybe
would be,
to just to quickly add to that, Aline, maybe actually wanted to also know from all of you, because as you've seen that the topics that that we shared, that we're trying to tackle, they're very interconnected, and I think it's nice that we are thinking about this project in this more connected point of view, which means that we can like really join our strengths into creating a project that can that involves all of the actors in this core team, and that we're really supporting each other. But for that, of course, we need, or ideally we have the whole team here also to discuss together. Maybe as a quick thing before we leave, what do you think could be ways that we also make sure that we are more connected as a team? Like, do you see strategies or other ways that we can communicate or organize this that can make this better?
Hello?
Hi, Ibrahim. Yeah.
Great. With regards to how we can actually
I don't think we can hear you. I can't hear you.
interact as a team.
Yeah, can you hear him, Lini? Because I cannot hear you.
No, I think the connection is quite bad, Ibrahim. We cannot hear you.
Maybe an idea is that we can also think that and share in the group or share with us after this, like through WhatsApp or through. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry that we cannot
Yeah.
hear him well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is definitely a very valid point. So I would say that to close this session, we can keep in mind these reflections and this conversation that we had. So it would be really nice to bring it back to your organizations and also see which possibilities are there and which things, yeah, maybe are ideas that are already in place that could contribute and that we can have this shared objective and strengthen each other to reach it. So therefore adapting a little bit the things that we are doing to grow together and to work together and collaborate. So that would be really nice to rethink these questions, and if there's any other thing you would like to add that you bring back to the group, both on insights and also in assets and other organizations or other partnerships. And another question is what I shared. How can we make sure that we have all the different voices that we collected in this core team together to discuss those topics and to create these ideas together? So we do have the WhatsApp group, and I think that is working well. But this call, for instance, we couldn't hear everyone, and not everyone was here. So if you have ideas of how to make that work in a better way, maybe it's another platform, maybe it's another format, we are super happy to co-create a better way to collaborate with you all.
Yeah. But still, it was
Hello?
really. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, sorry, I've had really bad connection there.
Could you hear this last bit? We are already
In a
7
storm
minutes.
brewing on station. Wanted to. Okay, all right. So just wanted I followed the
Oh, it's really hard to hear you. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, and I will share.
conversations. I'll listen recordings and also share some, especially relating to TVET and how.
Mary, we cannot hear you 100%. Well, but I heard a couple of things about sharing resources and sharing projects and things that you're doing. That would be really amazing. Let's follow up this conversation in the WhatsApp group, and then we find the best ways to keep this collaboration going. But I was super happy with this meeting. Thank you so much for being with us. I think Thais already had to leave for another meeting. But let's get the team together again, and I'm sure we can make a very big impact when we work together.
All right. Thank you so much for having us. But what we already have going on, I think is okay. I just feel that it's the timing that is the issue.
What do you mean?
The time by which
The
the time
meetings are.
yes, because most of like today now is actually a work day and people are quite busy. I don't know, maybe we can do it on a weekend if that will
Would
work.
people come in a meeting? We can suggest that.
Yeah,
or maybe
we can
after
suggest that.
work?
After work, weekend, I think both are, we can suggest both.
Okay, these are good suggestions. We'll take. Please also feel free. I mean, we are trying to collect things, and we initiated the project, but the idea is that we are all in the team together. So any suggestions, anything that you would like to propose to the group, please feel very welcome and open and free to do so. That we also feel like a team working together.
All right, I will do that.
Great. Thank you so much. Really nice to be able to see some of you, really discuss with some of you, or at least say hello to some of you.
Yeah, same here.
Have a very...
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Mary. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Bye. You too. Take care.
You